Takkar is a year-long test series program with 146 tests. This program is specially designed for UPSC CSE Prelims and Mains exam. It has 4 phases. Phase 1, pre-cum-mains test. In Phase 2, we conduct tests exclusively for the prelims exam. And in Phase 3, we will conduct tests for mains exam. And in Phase 4, we will help you to prepare for interview through interview guidance program. So why to wait? You can enroll for it now.
So when we talk about reservation, let's say, lots of things are there. You need to understand, which again we have tried to minimize, not maximize. Yes. So already we had 1, 2, 3 clauses. Thereafter we have added this. When we have added, let's say that, we have gone into adding from this. So that result into half almost we have added. So half almost we have added, so that results into a challenge. This. Then at least you have 2, 4 and then 3, 7 such, let's say that, amendments related to them. Yes. Then we have to see that how it has evolved. As of now, the debate is more about this. But you cannot understand this unless you understand this. This is how. Then let's say that these are other developments, right? Sectoral development. But this year I found a question on this aspect in prelims. So I felt happy also a bit anyhow. So okay, because we have already asked 2, 3 years back in test our questions related to efficiency and this. So this we can consider. Then these are some issues related. The issues we were talking. It is related to reservation and politics, whether it is populism, blah blah things that you can say. Then problems of reservation. There are various types of problems in reservation. So that can be. Then creamy layers, let's say that. Creamy layers, so whether we should apply creamy layers. And creamy layers in OBC equal to creamy layers in EWS. There are some legal technical issues. Then creamy layers in scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Should we introduce creamy layers also in scheduled caste and scheduled tribe? Because there is no concept of creamy layers in scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. That's the aspect you can see. Then finally, why demand for reservation is increasing? On the one hand, nation is progressing. We are 5th biggest economy. So progress means less demand. When society progresses, so there should be less demand for reservation. But on the one hand, we are progressing. On the other hand, demand for reservation is also increasing. Yes. So that is how you find that aspect. And finally, there should be review reservation. All these things. Because data that we give reservation is before independence. The basis for reservation, because हम डर रहे हैं, पता ही आपको, socio-economic caste census, we do not want. So baseless reservation, it becomes the data on which you are giving reservation is almost 100-year-old. On that presumption, you are trying to give reservation. Yes. So that is how criticism to reservation. And on the other hand, we say evidence-based policy making. वो भी टाइम आएगा एक दिन. We will talk about evidence-based policy making. और इतना बड़ा policy without evidence. So that is how there are flaws also. And these flaws are very serious flaws. Not let's say that general, they are very serious flaws also. Because benefits were going to already those who are beneficiary. The beneficiaries, let's say that. So then it is not helping the right cause. That is how it is said, that aspect. But अब तो debate ही shift हो गया है because EWS को भी reservation मिल गया. Right. पहले reservation bad था, अब वो good हो गया. Right. जैसे कि terrorist भी good हो गया. Bad terrorist, good terrorist. Anyhow, do not compare with this, but just take it sarcastically, right? So reservation so far was considered a stigma, but now it is, you know that not a stigma. This you can say. Because majority category side has also become beneficiary of this. अब तो डिस्कोर्स ही चेंज हो गया या डिस्कोर्स ही नहीं है. So this we can consider. Then finally, let's say we generally try to relate with Equal Opportunity Commission. Other countries have practices of Equal Opportunity Commission. The way we have different types of commissions, backward class, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, child rights, women, and human rights. Other countries have commission known as Equal Opportunity Commission. Generally towards end we try to relate it. This is how we say this, right? So before we take, let's talk on this Article 15 and 16. So basically, if you talk that even if both articles promote equality, but at the same time they have some also riders within their provisions, that nothing in this article can bar state to take any special measures. It is written. If you read Article 15, 1, 2, 3, you will find it. Nothing in this can stop state to take some special measures. That special measures can be taken for basically backward class people, women, children, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. Not specifically categorized that time, but it is mentioned, let's say, backward class people, women, children, that way. Same thing you'll find in this also. And Article 46 also envisages like that. This. It means the Constitution, on the one hand, talks about equality, but on the other hand, it also says to a state, or it also, let's say, professes that state can take some special measures. Then, to promote, let's say, that reduce backwardness, improve social economic conditions of people. That is how. And already, let's say that it's not that after independence, reservation was for the first time introduced, means there was a talk. No, already reservation was part and parcel of, let's say, Maharashtra, Mysore, Karnataka, you'll find that before independence. Like in 1902, reservation was introduced. If you go for the roots of reservation, right, the Sahu Maharaj, you find that. The Sahu Maharaj, that is how, let's say, that reservation was introduced. In the state of Mysore, reservation was practiced. So already before independence, there were practices of reservation for basically those who were vulnerable sections, weaker sections. The reservations were given before that also. Steps were taken, which will tell you somewhere else while talking, just we are trying to relate. Now, how this reservation debate started after this? So, first it says that state can take efforts. This summarize, then we will start further. Let's write. Even if Article 15 and 16 promote equality. Like 15 is about promotion of equality, which significance is that there is discrimination in the name of 5 grounds. There is discrimination in the name of 5 grounds in society, and even people are not allowed to have access. To public places. Like well-poned hand pump, etc. Hence, it tries to abolish such practices. And give equal rights. अभी भी है, आपको पता होगा कहीं कहीं. No. छुआछूत जिसको बोलते हैं, isn't it? Separate glass. It's a separate glass for water. Yes. उसके पास बड़ा थैला होता है. Right. Yes, it does happen. Untouchability या इस तरह के practice तो it is part and parcel of society. You can say this. अभी भी है, right? और वो इस तरीके से है कि you cannot even interreligious also will find, not only inter-caste. Let's say that is how religion. This first time I'll share one thing, although it is not ethics class, it is more relevant in ethics class, not here. So first time when we went to graduation, so I had brought something from my home that I gave to two friends. They did not eat. They threw that time. They told when we became friends. They told it when we became friend, because they were told in their families you should not eat from anything from Muslims. This. So that is how we became good friend. We are still friends, let's say that. So then things change. No? People change also. It's not that they remain that way. And then his, let's say, uncle was Sanskrit teacher and good teacher, let's say that. He became quite, let's say, friendly, means he liked, and he, whenever he came, he met me also. One day it happened, we were in our hostel sitting and my brother was also there, and he came. I told my brother to give a glass of water. My brother did not give him glass of water. I became a bit angry also, etiquette, etc. Isn't it? I told him, give a glass of water. So my brother later on told he would not drink. He would not. It happened. When he gave that glass of water, I was also there, and he denied taking that water. This by saying that कि तुम्हारी अलग बात है. Right. मतलब मेरा अलग बात है. मैं अगर दूंगा तो he will take it. But if my brother gives, he will not take it. Right. Anyhow, still we have a good relation, family relation, everything, let's say that. Because we should go beyond these things. There are discriminations, yes. But that is how it happens, let's say. Gradually you change. This is how we learn. So that is what you can find. Same thing happens, let's say, in schools also. Still, schools, let's say that. The family members, they tell, basically Hindu and Muslim, there is a huge binary wall, let's say that. And Hindu families teach their children vegetarian, non-vegetarian type of concept. This and some other things, let's say. Same thing with Dalits also. The Brahmins and Dalits. The Brahmins will tell to their children not to eat from Dalits. That is how you, let's say, it's not about religion. Within religion also you have Shia Sunni concept, you know that. These, let's say that practices, socio-cultural evils, etc. You can find still that it is not, let's say, that way it used to be in past. So therefore the purpose of this article was to eliminate. 17 has a specific purpose that is related to schedule, let's say caste schedule type. But 15 has a general purpose. Any kind of such kind of discrimination, wells, etc., public places where you bar people from entering. So that is how it was brought. It has its significance in that sense. Similarly, let's write Article 16. Right. It promotes equality. It promotes equality in the field of employment. In the field of employment. Since there is discrimination, in the name of six conditions mentioned. 6 conditions mentioned. Yeah, however, at the same time, Article 15, 16, and 46 empower state to take special measures to address socioeconomic backwardness related to women, children, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and OBC, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe and OBC, which ultimately gave rise to introduction of reservation, and evolution of case law related to reservation. Evolution of case law related to reservation. This evolution has given first the concept of 50% ceiling in reservation. Linked to basic structure. Next, definition of socio-educational and economic backwardness. With recognition of reservation in promotion, consequential promotion. Next, concept of substantive equality. Next, concept of transformative constitutionalism. Next, a debate on constitutionality of percentage of reservation. That to what extent reservation should be permissible. Constitutionally. Yes. Sinho. Wow. So these are some again facts related to reservation, how things have evolved. This so what happens? Government introduces reservation. Initially, it introduces reservation after independence, and that reservation is challenged. As we told yesterday, how court Samkam Doraya Rajan case. Here it happens that it says it is violative of constitution, and let's say fundamental rights cannot be violated. That gave rise to First Amendment Act, and this Article 15 Clause 4 was added. This Clause 4 talks about giving reservation to backward class, etc., etc. It gives legal protection. Matter ends there. Then government introduced, that is how scheduled caste and scheduled tribe reservation. The scheduled caste, scheduled tribe reservation, and their total reservation is 22.5%. They have total reservation 22.5%. Scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. Now matter comes of other classes. We should identify other classes, backward classes. To identify other classes, backward classes, Kaka Collective Committee was set up. It recommended over, I think, 200 to 300 castes as backward castes. But let's say government was in a position debating, adapting, etc., etc. By the time Janta government came to power, right? Janta government, and Janta government, let's say, constituted the BP Mandal as Mandal Commission. And the Mandal Commission went and identifying, let's say, this 3,743 castes as OBC. It identified OBC. Their total population was 52%. But it gave reservation to 27%. Why it gave reservation? Because already you have 22.5 plus 27% equals to 49.5%. This. Why it is bringing this? Because of this case. इसलिए ये जानना जरूरी है EWS को समझने के लिए. Right. So 50% ceiling was the Balaji case is related to reservation in Tamil Nadu, and that was more than 50%. This when it was more than 50%, that is called 68% reservations. It was challenged. When it was challenged in Balaji case, the court nullified this. Court nullified 68% reservation, and court went on talking about 50% ceiling in reservation. And the first time court has talked about this 50% ceiling. This Balaji case is the origin you can consider for this 50% ceiling. This to nullify this judgment, government went on bringing a separate amendment, 76 Amendment Act. And this 76 Amendment Act, let's say that that's protected. It gave protection to this reservation introduced by Tamil Nadu. Yes. The matter ends there. Now this matter proceeds. So when it proceeds, so VP Singh government when came to power, they decided to give reservation. It brought a memorandum to give reservation. No any amendment, just brought a memorandum to give reservation. But reservation can be given without bringing any law. Right. If law is not needed to bring reservation, means amendment is not needed. So it introduced, and when Narasimha Rao government came, it also introduced 10% reservation on economic background, economic criteria. So 27% reservation to OBC, 10% reservation to those who are economically backward, them. And then together it is challenged. That is how Indira Sahni case. So both were challenged here, which popularly we say Indira Sahni case. And Indira Sahni case is like Keshwanand Bharti case. Right. It is. तभी तक जो है बालाजी केस तो हिट एंड ट्रायल चल रहा था. Right. So this Indira Sahni case is the main case related to reservation. Others are just extension, let's say. This over that you have just extended this. Then it came, let's say, Nagraj case. Nagraj's case is related to promotion, etc., where it sets some conditions. Right. So we'll talk separately when we'll take Article 16. Then government came up with, I guess it is 5-6 hoga, but it does not matter, you can take, since I have written 7. But if 5-6 hona chahiye. This IR Coelho case is related to challenge of 93rd Amendment Act. So meanwhile, government brings amendment 93rd to give reservation in higher educational institutions, IITs, etc. The higher educational institutions, in public and private institutions, this excluding minority institutions. This. So then it was challenged, that is called IR Coelho case. This again, let's say it went on justifying reservation, including exclusion of, let's say, minority institutions. But it said that creamy layers should apply. It said creamy layers should apply, 50% ceilings should apply. Right? And this question has been asked. The case has been asked in mains examination. This IR Coelho case has been asked. This. So it shows that a particular case can also be a question. That is how it is. Like say Janhit case now. Meanwhile, Sinno committee is set up to analyze whether we can give reservation on the basis of economic criteria. This you should know. And committee gives recommendations, nothing happens, let's say that. Although it did not favor reservation on economic criteria. Anyhow, but then meanwhile, Karnataka state brings amendment to give in public services consequential promotion. And that is how challenge it results into 1 and 2 case. Again, we'll deal it separately. And finally, let's say EWS reservation, let's say, so we bring, let's say, 2019 103rd Amendment, which is challenged here. That we say as Janhit case or EWS case. Right? So these are some, let's say, there are other cases also, but we cannot cover more than that. Right. At the state level also there are cases in high courts, Karnataka High Court, Kerala High Court, Tamil Nadu High Court. At the state level also there have been judgments. This. At the same time, there are also those judgments which are related to promotion, backlog, consequential promotion. So there are other cases, but let's say this enough, let's say, to have a picture of reservation. Now let's say that basically what now we have to know, we have to know 2-3 things. One that is called social, educational and economic backwardness. This we have to know. Second is, should there be ceiling of 50%? Another ceiling is called basic structure. This, if it is ceiling is basic structure, so when 10% reservation has been given to EWS, so whether it is breaching that ceiling, it appears it is breaching that ceiling, but court has gone into validating it. So what logic it has applied in Janhit case? No. So we have to understand that logic. कुछ तो लॉजिक दिया होगा उन्होंने, बट यहाँ पे ये नलिफाई कर दिया. This, then you have reiterated, यहाँ पे reiterate 50%, reiterated 50%, reiterated 50%. So far court went on saying 50% is ceiling. Let's say that this is all fine that. And then Janhit case comes, it gives a different theory altogether. And on that different theory, it has justified. क्या थियरी दिया है? आउटसेट में आप क्यूरियोसिटी होगा जानने के लिए. थियरी ये दिया है कि वो जो 50% सीलिंग है वो शेड्यूल कास्ट, शेड्यूल ट्राइब है, ओबीसी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लाया गया था. वो इकोनॉमिक बैकवर्डनेस वाले कॉन्टेक्स्ट में नहीं अप्लाई होगा. Economic backwardness classification is a separate classification. Hence, all those judgments will not apply. That is how it is. All those judgments will not. यही तो समझना है कि क्या डिफरेंस है. What is the difference? Yes. 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 It is based on economic. Yes. That is what we have to understand. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. They are barred. यही तो प्रॉब्लम है उसमें. कई सारे प्रॉब्लम्स है. राइट. इसलिए तो मैटर हैज गॉन टू 7 जज बेंच, बट तो मैटर तो जाना चाहिए 11 जज बेंच को डायरेक्टली. मतलब वो 20 साल लगेगा फाइनल जजमेंट आने में. दिस शुड नो दैट. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी टालम टुलम, सॉरी टू से दैट. इसलिए कि इंदिरा साहनी जजमेंट था 9 जज बेंच. 9 जज बेंच का जजमेंट है तो यू हैव टू हैव ए लार्जर बेंच ना टू नलिफाई इट. हाउ ए 5 जज बेंच कैन टॉक ऑल दिस थिंग्स. दिस तो उन्होंने उनको हायर बेंच को लाना था, बिकॉज द बेंच इज गोइंग टू रिव्यू ऑल, बट दे कंस्टिट्यूटेड 5 जज बेंच. Yes, the Supreme Court is also criticized. But we'll come to that point. First, we'll have to understand piece by piece. Although, since it has come now, the debate on this side has reduced. This is the benefit. Since it has come, the debate on this side has reduced. Debate on this has increased. Otherwise, if it was not there, our debate was to this side. That is how, let's say that benefit when we talk about. So that is what we can say that reservation. Now, all such cases will find that they have not told that reservation cannot be given. First, you will not find that they are telling that reservation is violation of equality. They have justified reservation. There is a legal validity of reservation. First. Second is that reservation according to legal aspect does not violate equality principle. Yes. What they have introduced in reservation is merit criteria. Means test, merit criteria, like say 50%. If 50% ceiling is breached, it is nullified. This aspect. And if creamy layer is breached, they have introduced some restrictions like creamy layer 50%, but reservation per se they have not barred. There was only time when reservation per se was barred, that is called economic based reservation. What was the logic they rejected economic based? That also will tell. So it demands, let's say, first we have to understand what is exactly social educational backwardness. Means can we give reservation on any ground, or there are some just only specific grounds on which we can give reservation? And if there are some specific grounds, then what are those grounds? Basically, specific grounds they have brought scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, it is clear. To who they are, you can identify also. So for them, there has not been controversy. The controversy has been related to other backward classes. How we can determine people backward? Right. Backwardness they have defined in terms of social and educational, not economic. This is how they have done. So social and educational backwardness. And it was this social and educational backwardness definition which resulted into this nullifying of economic based reservation. This, if so far they have defended only social and educational backwardness, so again how they are justifying it? This is another question. Right. So this again it has brought about backwardness definition. How will define backwardness, especially social, educational and economic backwardness? This, and that is how, let's say, and should we have 50% ceiling? Because on ceiling also there has been no consensus. We'll show you while teaching AWS in which cases what were the views of different judges on ceiling criteria. They do not completely agree. Some say that there should not be any absolute criteria of 50%. Some say that no, there should be 50%. The 50% government has also argued that 50% is your creation. Idea of ceiling is your creation and idea of basic structure is your creation. This is how logic they give. Right. So that is how we have to understand this. Whether 50% or more reservation we give, does it affect efficiency? So how efficiency aa gaya? Kahan se aaya ye idea phir? Where does the efficiency idea comes? Because fundamental rights mein to kahin efficiency mentioned nahi hai. Efficiency criteria is mentioned in Article 335 and 335 has no link with fundamental rights. Right. So can you link it? That is a separate debate. Right. So basically ये आपको legality लेके आएगा. Legality, technicality, you know that. Lots of legality aspects. We'll try to minimize it. Already we have simplified it in this way. So let's write a summary on that, then we'll talk on this. We'll come to that. We'll come to point. After summary, brief, we'll come to that point. So let's write the evolution of reservation and case law after independence. After independence started. After independence started since Champakam Dorai Rajan case. Champakam Dorai Rajan case, which nullified reservation. Nullified reservation. nullified reservation. That resulted into First Amendment, which added Article 15, Clause 4. Which added Article 15, Clause 4. Next, Balaji case. The next case was Balaji. The next case was Balaji case, in which for the first time, 50% criteria, 50% ceiling was introduced. Ceiling was introduced that reservation should not be more than 50%. More than 50%. More than 50%. Since Tamil Nadu had given 68% reservation, it was struck by the court. It was struck by the court to give legal protection. 76th Amendment was introduced. 76th Amendment was introduced. Meanwhile, states have gone ahead in introducing more than 50% reservation. States have gone ahead in introducing more than 50% reservation. Like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, some northeast states. Such laws are generally given legal protection from judicial review. Such laws are generally given legal protection from judicial review by keeping them under Schedule 9. Next, reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe has not been issued. The issue has been largely related the issue has been related to backlog cases. First, backlog cases. Second, reservation in promotion. Next, consequential promotions, for which amendments like 77, 81st and 85th were introduced. Issue has been largely associated with first identification of backward classes, which caste or class can be Next, which caste and class can be defined as OBC? OBC. Which caste and class can be defined as OBC? Next, whether reservation should be given on economic criteria. Whether reservation can be given on economic criteria. These developments gave rise to. These developments gave rise to. First, Mandal Commission. Mandal Commission. Its reports an OBC reservation. Its reports an OBC reservation. Second, evolution of cases since Indira Sahni. Evolution of case law since Indira Sahni. Indira Sahni, 1992. 1992. Next point, OBC reservation. OBC reservation. Mandal Commission identified 3,743 castes. 3,743 castes as other backward castes. On the basis of criteria, first social, next educational, next economic. Economic, which is together considered as social educational backwardness. Social educational backwardness. Backwardness. Right. Social educational backwardness. Since in Balaji case, 50% ceiling was set. 50% ceiling was set. The commission recommended 27% reservation. The commission recommended 27% reservation. Even if OBC population was 52%. Even if OBC population was 52%. Next, Janta government, VP Singh government and Narasimha Rao government introduced reservation. VP Singh government and Narasimha Rao government introduced reservation, which was challenged, popularly known as Indira Sahni case. Popularly known as Indira Sahni case. Let's write now. Indira Sahni case, 1992. Indira Sahni case, 1992. First, it stayed the reservation decision of the government for 2 years. For 2 years. Reservation decision of the government for 2 years, unless the case was finalized. unless the case was finalized, it would not be implemented. It would not be implemented. Next, it struck 10% reservation on economic criteria. It struck 10% reservation on economic criteria. Next, it justified 27% reservation for OBC. It justified 27% reservation to OBC. Next, it reiterated 50% ceilings. It reiterated 50% ceilings, ceiling in reservation, and linked it to basic structure. Linked it to basic structure that it was in violative line. It was in violative line, bracket Lakshman Rekha. Next, it introduced concept of creamy layer. It introduced concept of creamy layer, in bracket Mains test. Mains test that those who come in creamy layer should not get reservation benefit. Those who come in creamy layer should not get reservation benefit. Reservation benefit. Next, it stated that the state should constitute a body for identification of creamy layer and regulation of OBC reservation. Which was implemented in 1993. That government created National Commission for Backward Classes. Government created National Commission for Backward Classes. Significance of the judgment. It can be considered one of the most important judgments of Supreme Court. In which first it gave legal validity to OBC reservation in the wake of nationwide protests and even some self-immolation incidents. Immolation, IMMOLATION, self-immolation incidents. Next, it made clear that reservation was not violative of Article 14. Article 14. Next, it emboldened 50% ceiling concept. It emboldened 50% ceiling concept. Ceiling concept. Next, it tried to bring institutional mechanism for promotion of OBC reservation on the pattern of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. OBC reservation on the pattern of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. It has become basis for other judgments like Nagraj case, IR Coelho case, and now Janhit case. Hence, it is a judgment which promotes social justice. It is a judgment which promotes social justice. Social justice. It is a judgment which promotes social justice. These are some characteristics of Indira Sahani case. Now we'll talk what is social educational backwardness. Right. Then we'll come to that. try to understand. How to understand social, educational, economic. See, economic criteria also was taken by Mandal Commission. Right. Next time, or if you read that notes we have given, तो हो सकता है. अगर नहीं होगा तो next class में I will show you what are those criteria. It is not needed to write because you cannot write such details. So we cannot decide backwardness unless we take economic aspects also. But economic aspect is the not sole criteria, not a very important criteria. Court, Supreme Court in Indra Sahni says, backwardness is social. That is how, let's say, it is. This is statement is this. And it is Mandal Commission. Mandal Commission. So, court went and saying that backwardness is social. And social backwardness become basis for educational and economic backwardness. The OBC reservation is given on the basis of social and educational backwardness, not economic backwardness. Although economy criteria, because you cannot separate completely, but this is called social and educational. Now you have to understand what is social backwardness or what is social educational backwardness. So those people who are, let's say, they're backwardness, their living standard, you can find that. Their living standard, their lifestyle, their language, you'll find that. So all these things will be very different. Dialectical language, you can have their own language, you can consider. Their living standard can be very primitive, very, let's say, they're beginning level of the society. This. So that way they identify social backwardness. And when they are socially backward, so they will not be educationally also. Educationally also backward, largely it will happen. Because education, since their backwardness living standard is that, they may not get education. They may not send their children to education. Yes, if you talk that time, today everyone is aware about education aspect, but still, let's say, they may not send their children to education. Or educational backwardness, even if they send their children to education, still there can be educational backwardness. How to understand? Generally, I give here one example, and that example I give of Rahul Dhote, who is IAS. So, Rahul Dhote, you will find this. He is IAS and in Madhya Pradesh posted. He belonged to backward class, backward district, and he married a girl that was Brahmin, Priyanka Upadhyay. So she was also a student, but she could not qualify. Anyhow, so but they had, let's say that they had affair, they married, but let's see what happens in process. When he became IAS, so he wanted to marry her. She also, but her family did not agree. Even if he was IAS. Yes. He is a different bent of person. So he tried to wait, let parents agree. Yes. So he tried to convince, it took almost 2 years. You see? तो जब वो आया शादी की बात बोलने बताने तो मैंने बोला क्या कन्विंस हो गए? Right. So he convinced. Now Priyanka social status is better. Her social status is better. What is that social status? Right. Right. So, social status, let's say that. So that you'll find social status is better because he is from Ajmer. So, educated family, well educated. He is from a backward family. Right? How one understand the difference? Generally, his family language, living standard, way, talking, everything will be very different. They may not have proper, जैसे कि आप plate होता है, right? This is a plate, glass, spoon, isn't it? Proper bed नहीं होगा, cot means खाट होगा, जिसको cot बोलते हैं, right? झुग्गी टाइप का घर होगा, अर्थ में relates to that. So when she goes in that house, she will find a huge difference. This huge difference between her living standard and their living standard, even if he is IAS. Yes. Now, when he will talk to their family members, he can talk in their language, he can live in their style. But can she live? It will be very challenging. This, and mother may never be able to speak in proper Hindi. This, she will never be able to because her accent, tongue, etc. She will speak all the local way that you can say this, local bhasha. Now her brother, etc. all will be. How many time it will take to improve them? Means how much time it will take to improve them? Perhaps you cannot improve them in one generation. This. Then his generation will improve. Rahul and Priyanka, upcoming generation. But his level of generation will have almost same social standard. Even if there is educational empowerment and now there is also economic empowerment. This you have to understand. So this is the idea of social backwardness. Right. And it may take even 3 generations, I will tell you. Still his family, relatives will not match with her, let's say that family relatives standards. और ये सब पता चलता है जब कोई चीज फंक्शन होता है. Functions happen, isn't it? You have segregation of the right. They cannot speak in their accent, and then by the time you develop American accent, other things, isn't it? All sort of things, and they will be talking in their local language, local भाषा, बैठ के ही खाने लग जाएंगे, right? आपने लाया वो सारा system, isn't it? टेबल उनको जहां जगह मिला वहीं बैठ के खाने लगा. Right? Sorry to say that, but this is what you'll find. You say it is below standard, isn't it? This, their eating style can also be different. This, not necessarily like you fork, spoon, and then you hear like this, all sort of things, isn't it? That is what social backwardness means. This, and that is how they are talking. So, by this you can understand that we can also easily assess economic backwardness. You can improve economic backwardness overnight. You pay money, economic backwardness is addressed. But social educational backwardness, you cannot do that. This you should understand. It will take generations. So that's why those people, basically the forward caste. Let's come to forward caste. Forward caste, since generations, has studied, had, let's say that mental literacy, education, has been part of the establishment, the ruling establishment. This, not 1 century, 2 centuries, it's for centuries. They have been part of the establishment. That way their social and educational status have improved. Once they may have also primitive aspect. If you go quite back, they could have also that primitive style of living. But for generations, they have improved themselves. And they have not got the opportunity, they live in that fashion. This. And that is how status has been associated. It has been inherent in us in such a way that those who are from higher castes. The higher castes are considered superior. Higher castes are considered intelligent. Higher castes are considered capable. And lower castes are considered incapable. Filthy people they are considered. Incapable considered. This kind of things you have inhered not 1 century, 2 century, for centuries. Hence, even if he becomes IAS, person from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe become IAS, he would not get the same status as a person from Brahmin enjoy without becoming IAS in society. Because Brahmin and Kshatri, they get higher status. Even if you are nothing, we say Humayun effect, I say only. Son of a great father, father of a great son. Right, this. So that is how you'll find that. The person, he has not done anything himself, but he is belonging to a Brahmin family, right, or a Kshatriya family. So since caste is higher, so that already in society you get higher, means respect. This is how socio-cultural factors. But a person from Dalit, even he becomes IAS, but entire office also will find that there is a domination of higher caste. The higher caste has almost, means general category. General category has 25% over population. But they have share in government job today over 50%. It means 75% share of population belong to OBC scheduled caste, but they have less representation. This is how the overall, let's say, if you find the idea behind this. So do not feel hurt or do not feel anyhow, those who, or whatever your caste and religion, that does not matter. We cannot have open discussion unless we talk all these things. It does not matter the particular caste and religion, but what it is said that is social educational backwardness addressing will take years, but economic backwardness, just it is depend on economic status. Like his economic backwardness is addressed. He has a job now, he's IAS. Right? The income is coming. But as far as his social educational backwardness is concerned, this आपने सुना होगा, अब हमारे सोसाइटी में होता है ना, अगर आप IAS बन जाओगे, अब आप थोड़ा बैकवर्ड एरिया से जो आता है, तो उसके पेरेंट्स उसके साथ जाना नहीं पसंद करेंगे, राइट, बोलेंगे कि हम तुम्हारे स्टेटस को मैच नहीं कर पाएंगे, राइट. लेकिन जो स्टेट एजुकेटेड क्लास है उसके पेरेंट्स दे विल एंजॉय this, because they are of also matchable standard. So this is how, let's say, social educational aspect, and that's why they have given this emphasis. That is how, let's say, गला फाड़ के, sorry to say that, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने गला फाड़ के बोला है कि देखो बैकवर्डनेस जो होता है वो सोशल होता है, राइट, वो एजुकेशनल होता है, वो इकोनॉमिक नहीं होता है, राइट. This backwardness is social, and from there you bring educational and economic. That is the definition they have given, and that is how it has become, let's say, social education. The idea behind this. Now let's say that why they struck that economic based reservation. Economic based reservation, first is that that time the prevailing definition remained that backwardness is social, and from there it is educational and economic. The basis for reservation should be social backwardness, not economic, since it was stand alone. The second thing they told that economic criteria cannot be stand alone criteria to give reservation. Economic criteria stand alone cannot be the criteria to give reservation, because backwardness is social, and from social it comes educational and economic. That was the basis for striking law. Striking law, right? 10% reservation they struck. दाओ जैसे अब सिचुएशन बदल गया है, गवर्नमेंट बदल अभी क्या हुआ, उस समय अमेंडमेंट नहीं था कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, अभी क्या गवर्नमेंट ने किया, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को अमेंड कर दिया। अब जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को अमेंड कर दिया तो सिचुएशन बदल गया, लोकस स्टैंडर्ड चेंजेस। क्या बदल गया, अब कोर्ट को ये देखना है कि ये जो अमेंडेड लॉ है ये बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर को स्ट्राइक करता है क्या, दिस वेदर right, not due process, no, it's not like that. Basic structure is like 50% ceiling. They have linked 50% ceiling with basic structure. So now whether this 103rd Amendment Act violates basic structure or not, this, so उस बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर का भी स्ट्रॉन्ग फाउंडेशन नहीं है 50% वाला, इसलिए कि जजेस का अलग अलग व्यू रहा है। ओवरऑल दे हैव टोल्ड 50% होना चाहिए, बट जहां पे स्क्रूटनी की जब बात आ गई, सो यू नो दैट कि दे हैव नॉट गॉन इनटू दैट वे, बेस 50%। नाउ दे हैव टेकन ए न्यू एस्पेक्ट। The new aspect is that this is called this key OBC, sorry, economic EWS is a separate category. It is a separate category. This separate category means it is not a category in the context of this. It is not a context in context of this or in the context of this. Rather, what they have said that these all judgments of this, judgment of Indira Sahni was in this background, in the context of, let's say, OBC and other reservation. But now EWS is a separate category. So when separate category is there, so 50% will not apply. It is their logic.
But again, sir, they are taking economic factor as a standalone.
Yes, they are taking economic factor as standalone. That is how we can say that it has been now, the judgment was not, petitioner did not accept the judgment. Rather, they have criticized. There is flaw also. This you can say. There is flaw in judgment. Right. But today, see, try to understand. Situations have changed. कोर्ट के पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है। उस समय क्या किया था, कोर्ट ने 2 साल स्टे कर दिया था। जब इस बार लॉ को चैलेंज किया गया 2019 में, कोर्ट ने स्टे नहीं किया। जब स्टे नहीं किया तो इम्प्लीमेंट हो गया। अब इम्प्लीमेंट हो गया तो आप क्या करोगे, आप विल यू स्ट्राइक रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली? दैट इज हाउ शुड बी। So judgment has been criticized, but हम क्या कर सकते हैं? We can teach you that, that's all. Yes, there are 7 judge bench. Yes, but 7 को भी नहीं जाना चाहिए. Directly it should go to 11 judge bench. Right. 7 judge का भी हो जाएगा, नहीं मानेगा petitioner. बोलेगा कि आप कैसे कर सकते हो? 9 judge bench का judgment है, you cannot nullify 9 judge bench judgment. They will go till 11.
But that is the rule. 9 judgment decision cannot be nullified by your.
No, कोई rule नहीं है. But how can you nullify a 9 judge bench judgment? Can be just nullified by a 5 judge bench judgment. That is how. So let's write few lines. No, see, they have linked it, but they never faced this situation that one day they have to scrutinize their own decision. It was not challenged. It was not challenged, so they have not gone into that details. Just they have told, presume that कि 50% open होगा, 50% reservation होगा, तो balance रहेगा. It is based on presumption. अब जब challenge हो गया तो भाई presumption को prove करना पड़ेगा. Yes.
Why in this general case the petitioner is hampering on 50%?
Because even in this case also it is registered, it is criticized. Even in this case also it is criticized. It is not considered, we should not give more than. Why it is case by case, you have to say. When the population, you have to say. Plus seats they increase. They also say that with proportion to that reservation, they keep increasing seats also. When they keep increasing seats also, it balances. But problem यहाँ होता है यूपीएससी में कि seats decrease हो रहा है. इसलिए गवर्नमेंट ने ये भी लॉजिक दिया था ईडब्ल्यूएस में कि वी इंक्रीज द सीट्स, बट यूपीएससी में क्या इंक्रीज सीट होता है? 10% रिजर्वेशन दिया है तो 10% बढ़ा दो सीट. दिस इज हाउ they have given. बहुत सारे dots means there are several flaws, let's say that, which will be, let's say that, rectified in 7th judgment. Right? This or perhaps later. You need Puttaswamy type. Right. This, so basically, let's say judiciary has to take stand. This you can say. Anyhow, so let's summarize it. Right. In Indra Sahni case, right. In Indra Sahni case, right. The Supreme Court went on stating that the backwardness was social, and it became basis for educational and economic backwardness. Changing paragraph. It struck 10% economic based reservation. It struck 10% economic based reservation. Reservation. It struck 10% economic based reservation. On the grounds, first, economic backwardness cannot be stand-alone criteria. Economic backwardness cannot be stand-alone criteria. Next, reservation should not breach 50%. Reservation should not breach 50% ceiling. Therefore, after Indra Sahni judgment, it became clear that backwardness is defined more in social educational terms. And not in economic terms. However, debates and demands. Debates and demands increased on reservation in terms of first economic based reservation. Next, reservation to new categories of backward classes, new categories of backward classes, backward classes, backward classes. Next, reservation in promotion, reservation in promotion. 10th paragraph. The government introduced 93rd Amendment Act. The government introduced 93rd Amendment Act. 93rd Amendment Act. To give reservation in higher educational institutions. To give reservation in higher educational institutions. It was challenged, which came to be known as, IR Coelho case. IR Coelho case. In this case, first, reservation was validated in higher educational institutions. Reservation was validated in higher educational institutions, including unaided institutions, excluding minority institutions, Next, it reiterated 50% ceiling, and creamy layer. Next, therefore, let's say before Janhit case 2022, Supreme Court in Indira Sahani case, Nagraj case, IR Coelho case has reinforced its view that there should be 50% ceiling in reservation. So that is how we'll talk here. We'll finish here our first part. After intermission, the second part next class. Next class Monday. So means my class on Monday. There is history class there. They'll have. So there will talk you EWS. This what was EWS. Blah, blah, things. Right. So let's finish.